Now that we've installed our simple search feature within our PHP script, and we've got it to work, the first thing we should do is to try and get it to go wrong. Because we shouldn't expect our users to do what we would like them to do with our product. We should expect them rather to do the most illogical things that they're capable of doing. For instance, instead of entering any data within the field here before they hit the search button, it's quite possible that they'll enter nothing and just hit the search button anyway. If they do that at the moment, with the way our PHP script is now, it's going to return every record in the database. Now this is a problem. Logically, if the user enters nothing at all as the search term, then the PHP script should return no results. Let's see why it's doing the exact opposite. When the string variable name is evaluated, if the variable is empty, then the SQL string here is essentially saying select all of these fields from the shops table where the name field is like wildcard and then nothing and then wildcard. Effectively anything at all. So our SQL string is returning every record in the table, in the shops table. There's a very simple way to get around this, and that's to use an if condition and a logical not operator and our name variable. And what that will do is, if our name variable is empty, then this condition will be true, and whatever we put in here will be run. Otherwise, it will ignore the if condition. So let's put the error message in here. And then we'll want to exit so that none of those results are shown. Let's try it and see if that works. If we go back to our HTML page and enter with nothing at all, as we can see, the error message is brought up. However, this time we're missing our hyperlink that should come beneath anything that's delivered by the PHP script. Reason for that is that this exit command completely ends the PHP script and anything that comes after it. Now, if the user has received no results from their search, they are in fact more likely to want to go back to the search page, but they're not receiving this option at the moment. What we can do to remedy this is to take it off from the HTML and include it as a string variable at the beginning of our PHP script, surround that in quote marks, and then we can use it wherever we want within our script. One thing to look out for is if we're enclosing HTML such as this as a string variable, then these double quotes will completely mess up PHP's syntax, because it will see the first double quote here as the outside of this string variable, and then it will look at that as closing the quotes rather than surrounding the hyperlink. So we use single quotes, very similarly to the way we use single quotes here in our SQL string. We can now use our link variable wherever we want to output that message. And we can put it at the end of the script as well. We may want to include a couple of extra line breaks keep things tidy and readable. So let's save that and return to the browser. This time, when we enter an empty search, we get the error message and we also get the link to go back. So we can see that this is a flexible way of including the piece of HTML that we want to write in different places. There are different ways to do this, but this is probably the easiest one given what you've learned so far from this training material. Now, other things can go wrong as well. For instance, we used the record example as something we could search for within the names of the record shops. Now, if the user enters record just like that, then they're going to get the results they expect. However, they put in a few spaces after the search term that they're wanting to look for, they're going to get nothing. Now, that is going to be a problem because the user is not going to think in terms of the PHP script searching for record, the text record followed by 5 spaces. They're just going to think, I put in record and hit the search button, and why did I get no results? Now there's a very handy little PHP string function called trim, and that strips off any white space from around a string variable. So if there's any tabs, spaces or line breaks around our name variable, then they will be removed, and we need to set name to this new value, which is the trimmed version of itself. If we save that and go back to our browser and type in record again followed by a few spaces, this time it's going to return the 4 record shops that contain the word record within their name. So that's functioning correctly now. One problem when we looked for record before with the spaces before we put our trim in and it returned no results, you may have noticed that there was no message that was returned to say that no results have been found. Let's try again with some nonsense data. We type in some garbage there, hit search, and this, although we've still got the link here, is kind of ambiguous because there's no explanation as to why there's no results. Let's go back to our PHP script and find a way of letting the user know that their search has been unsuccessful. Straight after the query has been run, we can use a condition, an if condition, to test how many rows has been returned from the query. We can use a PHP function called MySQL num rows, and that takes one argument, which is the result of the query, and we're going to say equals 0. So if no rows at all have been returned from the query, i.e. nothing at all has been given back as a result, then we can say sorry, no matching results, or something of that nature. We can also put the hyperlink in there and then exit the script. Let's save that. So MySQL num rows is the function that we're using here. Let's type in some nonsense, try it out, and as we can see, a much more user-friendly result if no matches are found. So that's made our search script a little more intelligent and allowed for some more erratic user input, which is very important.